Hello, welcome to Purple Light Games. We've got a big question. Are Genestealer Cults suddenly overpowered? So Games Workshop have just released their new meta, and quite surprisingly, Genestealer Cult are at the top of the win rate with a 58% win rate. Let's have a look at that table now. At the end of Nephilim, Genestealer Cult had a win rate of 47%, and throughout 9th edition have been lower to mid-tier. So is the rise due to a big rules update and points drop? And the answer to that is no. If you check out my video I did recently on the update, it's a short video, it'll appear up here. Then you will see there's just been a small points drop on for some units, some free war gear, and an slight improvement on some of the secondaries. So not wholesale changes. So what's going on? Well, the main problem here with Genestealer Cult is the player base. There's not a large amount of players going to tournaments playing Genestealer Cult, so you've got a very small sample size. And the players that do go are generally very experienced. Genestealer Cult are not an easy army to play at tournaments. One wrong move early on and that's your game gone. So the players who play them tend to be up for a challenge and know the army through and through. So they're generally very good player base. You don't get many people going there who lower the win rate, who are going to just go there and lose. So if I went there, the win rate would probably drop quite significantly because I would bring that right back down. So with having experienced players and a small sample size, that skews that data and draws up that win rate. But there are other things at play here as well, such as having a strong codex that was well written, well balanced, and hasn't been tinkered with for over a year. So it allows the player base just to get used to the army. People who play Tyranids or Custodies or other armies have had to adapt as they've gone along as changes have been made to those codexes. Not had that problem with Genestealer Cult. It's been very much a strong, balanced codex throughout. The other thing is that energy that was put into bring up a faction. It wasn't put into Genestealer Cult. No. It was put into Space Marines, with improvements to secondaries as well as the doctrines and lots of points drops, free war gear. There was a draw up Space Marines from the bottom of that meta towards the top. And it's worked, but they also lost Armour of Contempt. Genestealer Cult, because of this, have become a lot better against Space Marines. There's a lot of Space Marine players as well, which really again helps bring up that win rate for Genestealer Cult. So going forward, are we going to have a big Genestealer Cult nerf? Well, on Meta Watchers again, they explain they're not going to really tinker anything until about Easter. They're going to let the data settle and see what comes up first. I wouldn't expect any nerf at all. They didn't have much of an increase at all. It was just little sensible increases here and there and points drops and free war gear. The likelihood is they'll nerf the secondaries. They may just retreat those back to what they were previously rather than the slight improvements they made. But then they may not even need to do that. Again, it's a small player base. They may just view that as it's a small player base skewing data. And as more data comes in, win percentage is likely to come down. Also, other factions are going to rise. Assa Militarum, although their codex has dropped, had a large model release. Not all those models are done. Rough Riders haven't charged in and hit enemies out of the board yet. As that comes in, Assa Militarum will probably rise. And then of course, the World Eaters have come. The new World Eater Codex looks very strong, and you'd expect them again to go straight to the top. Strong Codex, they're probably going to have a win rate of somewhere around about 60%, probably maybe even higher, maybe a bit lower. But as a faction comes in and goes to that top, those factions at the top at the moment will lose win rate. They will go down. Likelihood Genestealer Cult will bring them down to below the 55% mark, which Games Workshop look for. So going forward, I don't expect there to be much of a nerf, if anything at all. So it looks like there's going to be plenty of blood for the Blood God and skulls for the Skull Throne, but for now, the Four-Armed Emperor is happy. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.